But first, Labor still isn't telling you much at all about what it will do once it wins, or if, next month's election. It is keeping so quiet. In fact, so quiet that today Cameron Milner, who was Chief of Staff of Labor's last leader, Bill Shorten, someone who's been on Labor's national executive as well, begged today's Labor leader, Anthony Albanese, to stop being such a small target and show Australia what he really is about. Absolutely. Well, good news and bad news on that front today. The good news is that Anthony Albanese did actually announce a policy. Whoopie-doo. A Labor policy, rare as hen's teeth. But the bad news is that the policy is this. An Albanese Labor government will, wait for it, go halves with the West Australian government to build one level crossing on one train line in Perth.
These bells ringing that we're hearing now 266 times every single day can be stopped. They can be stopped by this investment, and it's an investment that federal Labor and the state Labor government will join to deliver, making a difference, creating jobs as well.
Now, the reason I say this is bad news is, well, first of all, talk about small change. This country faces huge challenges, and all we get from Labor today is a promise to pay half of one rail crossing in one city, in one state of Australia. The second is, well, wait a minute, hang on. Why is a federal Labor, potentially government, promising federal money taken from every other state to build this railway crossing in Perth? That's a state responsibility, it's not a federal one. I mean, you just take Victoria. It's partway through building more than 80 railway crossings at a cost of $17 billion, and that's all funded by Victorians. No federal money. So why is Albanese giving this free ride to the West Australian government when that government should be rolling in money from its mining boom? Well, the answer's simple. There's an election in Perth. Election, 3 or 4 seats there. Labor could win. But you know, to me, this all goes to Labor's contempt for taxpayer money. I mean, sure, you'll say the Liberals. Lately, it's also spend, 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 and you're right. But even the Liberals, I don't think, have quite sunk to Labor's depths. Or not, let me be precise, to the depths of the Victorian Labor government, which right now stands as a flashing red warning. The Victorian Labor Party, we already know, essentially stole nearly $400,000 of taxpayer money to win the 2014 election by getting taxpayers to pay for Labor campaign workers, falsely claiming they were staffers for Labor politicians. Now, if you think that was just an innocent mistake, paperwork got confused, wrong, because we now know that this same Labor government pulled a similar rort 3 years ago, using taxpayers' money, this time nearly $2 million, to fight another election. Victoria's Auditor General has now checked the ads that this Andrews Labor government ran at the last federal election, all taxpayer funded, to help its federal Labor mates fight Scott Morrison and his government. These were ads paid for with money taken from hospitals and schools and transport to attack Scott Morrison for supposedly not giving Victoria enough money.
It's time Canberra did their part. We just want our fair share.
Now, the Auditor General said these ads broke the law because they were too party political. He said they included statements that could easily be seen as criticising the Commonwealth Government's funding for schools, health and transport in the lead up to the 2019 federal election. No kidding, Sherlock. And of course, political parties should pay for political ads with their money, not yours. Otherwise, it's stealing. But Premier Daniel Andrews, quite typically, is utterly shameless.
The Auditor General's entitled to their view, and we wouldn't hesitate to run that campaign again.
But back to Anthony Albanese. No, it's true. I don't think he's Daniel Andrews. He's not that sinister. But he is just as secretive. I mean, why can't we know about his policies? Where's his money coming from for all these promises? Well, those that we know of. And you know he's hiding something about the money side of things, the taxing side of things, because look at him wriggle today.
Will you increase taxes in government to pay back debt?
We've said that the tax that we're looking at is multinational tax evasion.
You won't be increasing taxes to pay back debt?
Look, what we'll do is two things, Carl. One is we'll stop the waste and the rorts, but the other thing is we have a plan for growth.
But you won't increase taxes?
We have all of our policies out there for all to see.
I don't know that you're answering the question. It's pretty.
Yes, I am.
Is it a yes or a no?
I am absolutely.
Will you be increasing taxes?
We will be announcing our measure on multinational tax evasion.
Are you getting a little nervous? Feel like you've got to put your hand on your wallet? And today we learned that not only do we still have no answers from Labor, we also have almost no one in Labor we can now ask, or almost no one in Labor is allowed to tell. Albanese has sent out a memo to all Labor MPs that's so over the top that one of them leaked it. They were that angry. It tells them, shut up. Just say nothing. It says all interview requests must first be approved by Central Headquarters Communications without exception. From now on, you should not be committing to any regular weekly or fortnightly spots in advance. Every media appearance will be subject to approval based on the media context that day. Any lines or quotes going out to media must first be approved by Central Headquarters Communications. And I guess that is the real reason why two senior Labor frontbenchers who said they wanted to come on this show, one of them every fortnightly, two frontbenchers that I respect, have had to pull out. Because this memo says that the people who are now going to do the talking, with only some approved exceptions, are Albanese and four others, Penny Wong, Richard Marles, Mark Butler and Jim Chalmers. Which means that the Labor team in Parliament, well, it really looks like this. It's a party of faceless people. A handful of MPs that can say something about Labor policies, but dozens more who can't and may as well not exist at all. That's true. Every party, of course, tries to control the message in a campaign. But I think this one goes a bit too far, and I'm curious. I'm curious because really, what could those MPs say anyway? Has Anthony Albanese told them what he plans to do as Prime Minister? Apart from building half of one railway crossing in Perth, I mean. Is Albanese's plan such a secret that even Labor MPs don't know? Let alone you, of course.